I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. Ay, I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. Everybody giving me advice is never right. That is why I only listen to my own advice. I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. Ay, I'm a living legend, I can't die, no, I can't die. Label me a rock star, cause I rock and I shine. Y'all wasting your time, swear this world is mine.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of the Four Square Podcast. We're your squares. My name is Lucas.
My name is Alex.
I'm Max.
It's your boy Jeff.
All right, boys. Once again, what's going on in the world today?
Man, have y'all seen this stock price for GameStop? I don't know what to do with it anymore.
Oh,
It's still crazy over here, isn't it?
Man, it literally took from, because I mean, we're still in the pandemic, so shout out to everybody. Hope y'all safe. Hope y'all masking up. Get the shot whenever you need. And yeah, man, from last year, everything was tanking down. Especially with the stores that we're always trying to go to. We couldn't go to the movies no more. We couldn't go to our regular stores. And the ones that took the biggest hits was GameStop. And I was like, man,
Yeah, man, it's crazy because GameStop, it feels like it's been on its way out for the longest time, and then all of a sudden,
the implication of video games, like you can buy video games from your console. I mean, it makes things a lot easier. So I don't really see a point of having GameStop around anymore.
I mean, GameStop.
I would almost say GameStop was like our generation's Blockbuster.
Yeah, I can vibe with that. Like, we were just kids when we were going to Blockbuster still.
Yeah.
But we still have GameStop. We were still growing with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, GameStop, it has like the pre-owned games, like the lower, like the costs get lower. But like, if you buy it on your console, you're basically buying it brand new for the most part, unless they have like a special holiday sale.
And you go in to get the Game Informer magazine, so you know the new games of the month.
Alex, dude, you know what's going on with these stocks, bro?
Man, oh my gosh. Okay, so here, let me grab this up real quick. So currently, stock right now is at 191.23, and that is on the NYSE. That's on the current stock market right now. It's the weekend, so stocks are closed. But literally, from December of 2020, that thing was at $18. I died. I was like, hey, yo. And then out of nowhere, and then in the beginning, it skyrocketed. People, investors, they was all trying to get a short sale on it, trying to make some quick bread on the stock market, try to take advantage. And then, so, everybody was, trying to bring up stocks, trying to drop up that price. And then, I think what was some kids on Reddit, they decided to, out all the investors. And I was like, oh, snap. And so it foiled. So then it went up and it went right back down. I was like, well, you failed.
I legitimately never thought I'd ever have to thank Redditors for anything.
I'm saying, like, I wasn't fortunate enough to get any stock due to like everything going on with Robinhood and stuff like that. So I mean, I wasn't able to get in on it. But it's just like, dude, I would have loved to have gotten a little bit. I know people that still have their AMC GameStop stock. Like, it's crazy, dude.
Man, and this whole, there's just the memory of just going, is even especially when a new game dropped, like that day, and it would be like a certain time, and you would already go and you would see a line already out the door. And I'm like, well, guess I'm not getting it today. So you better just wait for whenever there's a deal or wait till when the price drops. Yeah. Because man, those days, oh my gosh.
I was one of those shoppers that when I got older, I really stayed away from buying games right off the bat. Like, unless it was super popular, like the Spider-Man for PS4 or Red Dead Redemption 2, I really avoided trying to buy the game right off. I'd wait until it got lower on the price, because if you wait just the right amount of time, you just don't think about it, you play as something else, it is, in my opinion anyway, it's well worth it. Like, you can get something half off at one point, especially if it's a holiday sale. I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey half off on Black Friday.
Mm-hmm. Especially for those deals and those undercut days, or like wait for the price to go low, and you see those undercover games where you don't realize like this game is actually dope. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's still affecting it now because I mean, GameStop's stock, it is dropping up, but now it's like it's plateaued to like a more consistent thing. So now it's not as like a big deal anymore. But I mean, if you're able to get on that stock, I mean, praises to you. But that has been a roller coaster ride.
$200, bro.
Hmm.
Now let me ask y'all something. There has been apparently, like, my opinion is not the fact. Like, people have been arguing whether GameStop is on its way into just folding itself or if it's still gonna kind of be around for a long time. What do y'all think? Do you really think it's gonna be around, or do you think it really is just inevitably going down?
I mean, inevitably going down because I mean that's how business goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially with the takeover of Sony and how Xbox, how you can literally, well, even Nintendo, you can even just buy games straight from the console. I don't really know how much the price difference is, but I know the convenience behind it all. You can literally just
But
sit,
if you
buy
buy
it.
from like PlayStation Store, I don't know about Xbox, but PlayStation Store has sales all the time. If you
Yeah,
know
I
how
know.
GameStop can be cheaping you on some shit sometimes, but
Yeah,
Hmm.
low key, low key. Yeah,
I mean, if you
Don't get
look
me
at
started on those
it from like
trade-ins.
a business distributor's perspective, you look at like you can buy a video game anywhere. It's not like GameStop was like the end all be all. It was just the home of video games. That's where that's what the store is for. But you can still go to a Target or a Walmart or any other store and find video games at your disposal. So I think that eventually GameStop, as far as the store itself, that might get ate up by a bigger company. It's just
Yeah.
it'll be a simple situation of big bag take little bag. And so
Individual stores have already been closing up. I mean, there was one. I can't remember where it used to be. Right there was a little spot. I think it might have been on Johnson Ferry. Don't quote me on that because I'm bad with roads. It was right next to a Barnes and Noble, a Starbucks, an AT&T store, and a GameStop. It was the weirdest little shopping place. So, and I remember I walked in there one time and it was like everything like half off, 75% off, buy everything, get it out of the store. I was like, wow, okay. I
Mm.
bought one game, but it was just crazy to see that this
out of all that,
location
you only
had
got one game.
it was empty, bro. Like, by the time I got there, like it literally looked like one of those ransacked joints that you see on the news.
no, really.
Like they had like some action figures, a hat, some games, and a shirt. That was pretty much all they had. It was crazy.
All things that we
I,
used to love to go to as a kid. I also remember just going, especially just for the favorite games. I mean, like, so like, what were y'all favorite games that y'all wanted to like purchase and play as a child? Like, what were some of your favorite games that you wanted to play?
as a child. Ooh.
As a kid, Spider-Man games.
Mm.
You know what? Dang, Jeff, you unlock some memories. I mean, Spider Man. You remember Spider Man Web of Shadows?
Bro,
You
that
and me were on that heavy,
that is the
heavy.
most underrated Spider-Man game of all time.
I don't know what it was. Like, the story was pretty solid. Like, the combos were just ridiculous.
Combat second best, hands down, second best.
It felt straight out of like. It was like if Spider Man went into an anime for a little bit with those punch
Literally,
flurries and everything. That
literally.
was crazy.
And it's like I'm one of the biggest Spider-Man fans you ever meet. I mean, shit, I even got a Marvel shirt on right now. But
Hey,
like I don't have all Spider-Man games from console, but I have most of them to where I can actually point out in the newer games where a swing system or a combat system came in. So for like Spider-Man PS4, I can tell you which game they got a certain swing style from.
Mm.
wow.
Was that your favorite game, like of all time? Just during that time, like you
Web
still
of
consider?
Shadows at the time, yeah.
Mm,
That was actually one of my first 2 PS3 games.
mm,
Shoot. Yeah, I remember I think honestly that might have been there was a mechanic that came from that game. At least
Web
I think so. It was the web strike. Yup. Because that I saw that mechanic in just about every other Spider-Man game that came after that.
Mhm.
And yet nobody talks about it. Come on, bro. Come on.
It was innovative, bro.
It was.
Like,
It was you draw yourself to the enemy immediately. You can like through all kinds of combos and just like hit them from different. It was great. I
I
loved
mean,
it.
Web of Shadows did it best. I mean, later on, like it made it more realistic because it's more of a realistic type of game. But
Yeah, as with the times go.
With new Spider-Man, stuff like that.
yeah,
I mean that's with the times though. Like what you got. You look at Web of Shadows versus like this the PS4 Spider-Man.
yeah.
Like that's just
Oh,
to go with the net. It's kind of similar to the old God of War games. What you got now.
Mhm.
People want more immersive experiences. They don't just want the hack and slash anymore. Which I mean,
Yeah.
cool. I love hack and slash, and I understand the need to change. But as long as people don't hate on the old stuff,
I mean, it was still fun during the time. I mean, my favorite game, as a kid, was the Jack and Daxter series, and I played every single one of those games, including the fourth one, the racing game. Like literally,
Yes,
Jack and
bruh.
Daxter,
Oh,
that
bruh.
racing game, that race game was
Bruh.
fun. That race game was fun as hell. But like, just learning about it, as a kid, I'm only 10, and you're only really playing, just for like not really thinking just to get a cool story. But as a while, I got old and I grew with the Jack and Daxter series. So then, like I remember I used to play like multiple times just to figure out the story and to figure out the character and to figure out like what is this story, what is this supposed to teach you. And so each game it got more intense as they started cussing, and it got more and more grueling each time until you got to 4 where you racing and talking shit to one another. I'm like, man, like this is real. And so yeah, no, that
Yeah,
game I will
machine
always
guns,
hold that.
grenades, like missile launchers in that junk, bro.
Hmm.
The
What about you,
one
Max?
one game series or games that I just remember playing with my brothers and stuff, like game series, Halo. Starting from Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo 5. Oh, I'm forgetting one. I'm definitely forgetting one. Oh god.
Wait, what were you listening
Whatever.
off?
Halo. I was listening off all the Halo games, or pretty much
Mhm.
most of the Halo games.
You got 1, 2, 3, ODST.
ODST, I was forgetting
ODST,
ODST.
ODST was
Reach.
Oh, dude.
phenomenal.
Absolutely fantastic games, dude. Like that's a top tier game series to me. Dude. Like real spill, bro. If we didn't become a PS4 or a PlayStation family after like around when Halo 5 came out,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
dude.
That was the one thing that kept me because
That's
Halo,
one thing.
like once I got the
Literally one thing
Xbox,
that kept me.
hey, I started getting on Halo. I was like, hey, yo, Xbox gonna keep me around for a while because
Like,
Halo
straight
is
up,
phenomenal.
straight up. My brother bought a Xbox One right when Halo dropped.
Hey,
I
Literally
gotta
just to
say,
play.
maybe it's just me, but I think the Halo 5, the one like the newest one, I think not the newest one, but the one that came, with the 2 different Spartan teams. I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like it didn't feel like a Halo game. Like yeah, it was a Halo game, but compared to like Halo 3, Reach, heck, even 4, it just felt weird. I didn't like it as much personally. Maybe that's a hot take.
Might have gave like more of a COD feeling. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's how a lot of
Oh,
games unfortunately went. A lot of series games, it'll be like that one game where it's just like didn't hit as much,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
then it's
mean,
kind of just like
really,
fell off.
people bought it. I feel like for the nostalgia, because
it
you grow up with Halo. Like Halo was that game. Like everybody played. People still cosplay as Master Chief, dude. Like that's a
legendary character, honestly.
legendary character.
so I never really had an Xbox, so I only played here and there, like at friends' houses to play Halo. Like last Halo I played was Halo 5. So for us non-Xbox players, what would you say is the appeal of Halo?
Ooh.
Okay, so as a kid, I played video games here and there, but I gotta go with. I'm kind of floating with Max on his on Halo being his favorite because Halo 3 specifically was my favorite for nothing else than the memories that I have associated with it. So if you didn't
Same.
play Halo, this is exactly what we're talking about. I would go to my friend's place because I didn't have Halo at first. My friends had Halo. I would go to my friend's place. It'd be me and him and his 2 friends. 4-player split screen. We'd spend an hour, maybe 2 hours, just building a map, opening everything, putting the hover ramps on. It was a hover ramp with it would like shoot you in a certain, like either straight up or in a certain direction. We would play different. We'd set up different games. Our personal favorite was Infection. You know, one player has we would give one player enhanced abilities, super jump, super speed, and it was just a fantastic time.
Absolutely fantastic.
Like we would just spend all night playing and like roasting each other for losing and like coming up with all kinds of like hilarious videos. It was mind-bogglingly awesome.
You could customize the map the way you wanted.
Yes, you could.
Oh,
you could
that's
add
That was one thing that they created. It was
Mine.
absolutely amazing.
Did you? What was the name? There was two different like sand something maps. One of them was like a complete desert. The other one was more like in space. It felt like. But what was cool?
I
about
remember
it
which one
was
you're talking about. Yeah.
we set up one a teleporter that can go up
One
to
was
like
Sandbox.
elevated. Yeah, Sand Trap. I think was the other one.
Yeah, Sandbox and Sand Trap.
Sand Trap. Yeah. So we had like an elevated platform that we would teleport to, and we just clown on each other. And then there was like a secret tunnel. If you like take out that one tile in the ground, straight down into an open room. And what we do there, we have death matches. We put like the Hornets, like the flying vehicles, the tanks, and we get down there. It's like, all right, let's blow some shit up. Let's do this.
Yeah, see, we used to do rocket launcher versus rocket launcher and sniper rifles, and then we just go at each other.
So y'all really have the full co-op experience of like Halo, right? That's what y'all see. My story was like completely opposite from yours. Halo 3 came as a gift when me and my brother got the Xbox 360 for Christmas. And that was the first game where it was like a real like mature like game that I was like allowed like to really play like as a kid by myself. And so I was like, wow, I've played shooting games before, but like this one where it was like, no, your purpose is to shoot and go through missions, open boxes, shoot, kill, go through the story. And so this is my first time really having that experience. And so I was fully invested to like be the best, like, cause I was always competitive playing games. And I used to always get sick and tired of my dad beating me and all these other games. So I was like, nah, this is mine. This is mine. I'm going to own it. And so I went through, I probably played the Halo 3 story at least 50 times. And each time, like, I remember, playing it from the lower level all the way up until you got to, I forgot, like the expert legendary level, whatever that was called.
Legendary.
And so, and I didn't realize how hard legendary was until I played easy and regular. And that was like, okay, regular. I was like, okay, regular, challenges and stuff. When I got to hard, I was like, all right, I don't think I could beat this by myself. And then I remember when I would hang out with like cousins, like my brothers, my uncle and I, we were determined to beat the game on hard and beat the game on legendary. I have never taken 3 hours to get past one map, and it frustrated the hell out of me, especially when there were like snipers, like the little alien snipers that would just have like that long arm and it would snipe you every single time it sees you. And I'm like, you know what? I can't do this today. And so that story, I remember the story like vividly, like I can picture it to this day. That memory of like playing a competitive like shooting game, like that will always forever hold dear to my heart. So I will always love Halo 3 for that reason.
I gotta say, I honestly, hot opinion, people who like were thriving in Legendary, who are enjoying Legendary story by themselves, are people who play Dark Souls today. Like, there's a direct correlation.
You think so?
I mean, Legendary, if you play it like by yourself, I could, like, even with me and my friend, it took us hours to get through the map, and that was on hard. Legendary, I don't remember if we finished. And like, I've played Dark Souls. That game punishes you and rewards you for having to learn. You have to learn from your mistakes. So like people who played Halo probably spent hours on end trying to get like just like you trying to get through one map. And so those kids who did it and end up getting really good at it, they're probably enjoying Dark Souls just the same.
Once I played the story once on Legendary. When I beat it, I was like, I'm never doing this again. It was great, but I am not doing this no more.
You
just
huck your whole Xbox out the window.
Literally, I'm like, yo, my heart was racing every single time because I'm like, especially, I don't know if you remember the map where you're in the desert and you don't get to your tanks yet, but you're going up this mountain trying to infiltrate like this alien home base. And there are these 3 giant blue monsters that are shooting this giant laser at you, and they're like, they're indestructible. And no matter how many grenades you throw at them, no matter how many guns you shoot at them, you have to find like that one soft spot. And I'm like, I can't do this. And no amount of sniping could have helped me. And so playing that on Legendary, I was like, I'm not going to do this.
So I guess then, how have our, I don't know, but I imagine you guys have had changing tastes in games, right? Like, yeah, we grew up with Halo and stuff, but have y'all, what about adult you? What is your favorite video game that you have played as an adult? Or just a young adult?
Adult me will always be, since me growing up being an athlete, sports games. I was one of those. I used to be one of those where it's like I used to always wanted to buy every single game that came out that dropped each year. But then afterwards, as I became an adult, I'm like, there's literally little to no changes between 10 and 11. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go every other year or every 2 years. So that's kind of how I've been with the sports world. Is that every once in a while I'll look at a sports game, and if there's looks like there's new changes, then yes. But as far as like RPG games, oh my gosh, like my favorite game right now, series, is The Last of Us. I don't know if you guys play The Last of Us series. Oh my gosh, I want that to be a TV show, because as an adult, when you're playing a game, you're kind of, I don't know about you guys, I want to escape from what the current world is. Day-to-day jobs, day-to-day lives. I want to go into another universe and enjoy and experience something. And so what The Last of Us is an alternate world where you're experiencing something. Now, ironically, that game has a pandemic and we're in one right now. But that game and that whole story, you're invested. You're really invested into how it plays out. And then when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, I was one of the first people to buy it. And I played it, and it still, those gut-wrenching moments, those heart-pressing moments, it was just something that I really, really was like, yo, I put my heart and soul into this game. And that's what I like now, is those games that give me a story and an experience.
And the combat really improved in the second one too.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I was kicking ass in the second game.
They let you dodge.
Yes.
It was over before it began. I was like,
oh yeah. Because dodging in the first game, it was tough. You really couldn't dodge. But this one, I was really weave, going across the head with a bat. Great. I enjoyed it very much.
But I don't know. What about you two? Jeffrey and Maxwell. What y'all got? How have your tastes changed over the years?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Now go ahead, Max.
These two squares.
All right. All right. I think this game's pretty underrated. My favorite game right now that I played recently was Horizon Zero Dawn. I played the DLC too. I haven't gotten the newest one yet. But I think my brother bought it and he had it for a while. And I was just like, can I take this game? Just on some you have it, you're not playing it. Let me take that guy off. And I played it. And I was just up all night, just caught up in the story, dude. Mm-hmm. I think this story is fantastic. Graphics are pretty damn amazing too, and I think it's overall a pretty awesome game. It's a huge map, a lot of different characters. It's pretty immersive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot added on to it with the DLC, and it's just I thoroughly enjoyed that game. But I also like to play Destiny every now and then too. Well, Destiny 2. So that's those are my top games. Make sure you're
back to. Which one of the just a hot quick question? Which one of the machines did you I guess I don't know how you play it, like or dislike the most, depending on how you feel?
Oh fuck.
You got that you got the two really big ones that pissed everybody off were the Thunderjaw.
Oh yeah, they're just annoying. I learned how to beat them you learn how to beat them pretty quickly.
Thunderjaw is pretty solid.
You shoot off the disc, You shoot off
Yeah.
their disc throw and use it against them.
You use it exactly. And what about that big bird, the Zeus
Oh,
bird or whatever?
the storm,
Storm bird.
storm bird.
I
Yeah,
hated that thing.
I hate it. Nah, I hate those motherfuckers. You gotta
Like,
they gotta get them close to the ground.
Like I would nail it to the ground. I would light them up. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like the game's fun. This game is really fun. I think it's really underrated. I really do. I really think it's underrated game. That might be my hot take. I don't care. I stand on what I say.
He said what he said. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, my taste in games is real diverse. I mean, I had I think my first system was like an actual Game Boy Color, and it was Pokemon Blue version. So I was playing that for a bit. And then I got a PS2 back in like 2004. And my first games was the Tobey Maguire movie Spider-Man game and NBA Live 04. But I was really on the Spider-Man game for the most part. Did a lot of beat 'em ups. And around 2007, I went to my friend Jimmy's house, and he was really into WWE. So he showed me SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. That got me.
Oh my gosh, those
playing those games, bro.
Fantastic.
It's so immersive too. Like I don't even know how much you can really get into the game. Like it's not just wrestling people, but you can play as a GM, like a general manager in that game. Hire actual superstars, do promos, make sure that they stay fit and stuff like that, so they don't get injured. You gotta like rehire them. Like it was like a lot of business aspects to that game. So I got that game all the way to like 2K14 WWE, and then middle school, I started hanging out with my cousin Wayne. And he got me into Call of Duty. My first one was Modern Warfare 2. So you already know Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. Those crazy kids.
That lobby was packed. Oh my god!
You know, if you had beef, you do 1v1 on Rust. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You know where to find me.
Right.
Call of Duty always pissed me off. Every single time, never failed.
Every single game, or does Modern Warfare 2 that specific one?
No, I mean every single game. Every single game pissed me off. Shit, I get pissed off with I get pissed off with Destiny too. And I also get pissed off with MLB The Show.
So what I'm hearing,
the online aspect just pisses me off. Online aspect pisses me off.
Shooters don't go well.
But Call of Duty, Black Ops 1 would be like the most nostalgic for me because that's the one I played the most.
Mm-hmm. That was a whole wave. Y'all remember that?
It was.
Yeah.
It was
everybody was getting it.
Because I mean, the series still lives on. I mean, for people who are playing, Cold War and the new Modern Warfare and Warzone and multiplayer, all those. Like, I mean, that's why. I mean, for me, I play that with my boys from college, like damn near every night. And so like that is always like a game where like you're thinking about it, you shoot them up, bang bang, and like you get frustrated, but it's still like it's more of a community event now for me, and so I always enjoy it for that reason. But no, I definitely remember those games where like it definitely got frustrating.
See, COD was almost right in that way. Like Modern Warfare 2, I feel like really pushed them to like stardom, and then they did good with Modern Warfare 3. And then my cousin's like, "Yo, don't do Modern Warfare 3." I'm like, "I just bought the game. You told me to buy the game too." He's like, "Bro, Battlefield 3 was a wrap." I was like, "What is Call of Duty? I don't even know what Call of Duty is." Battlefield 3. I mean,
he was like, "I'm off that."
You can see the rebar sticking out the concrete, bro. Battlefield 3, hands down, fire.
I mean, a lot of series games it came out like that. I mean, like what are some current like series games where it's like it's still holding on and people are still playing it? Like like GTA. When is GTA 6 coming out?
Like 2024, 25. It's like there was official news that they said like they were going to release in 2025. I don't know how official or how accurate that is, but I mean, man, I gotta say, when did GTA 5 come out? It was like what, 2012?
2012, yeah. Like we were in high school still.
I gotta say, after what happened with Doom, like the not Eternal, but like the new Doom game when it came out, 11 years they spent working on that project, and look what happened with it. It was chef's kiss, beautiful. To say the least, they toiled.
in this situation, what all more can you add to it?
To GTA or Doom?
Yeah, to GTA.
Honestly, I think that they were just. It really sounds like that they were just riding the GTA 5 high because that
Right.
game is just it's one of the iconic ones. That is like you're gonna keep playing because right now they're just updating it
Up here.
and people getting online and making new videos of doing crazy crap. Like people
Making
like
their mods, all that
it's
stuff.
like it's
Mhm.
almost becoming like self-generating content at this point.
If
Yeah,
you think
The
about
game,
it
like
the
though,
game is
at this
self-sufficient.
point, that's what it is.
if you
Yeah.
think about it though, GTA 5, the way that people are playing GTA 5 is the same way that people are playing Call of Duty. You're playing Call of Duty because you're a part of this community. People are playing Fortnite not for like the story of the game, but people are playing Fortnite because there's a community of event that's happening. People are in
Oh my
GTA 5 to do missions. People are in GTA 5 to do all these little robbery activities and to build up your businesses and your company. I don't get nostalgia from GTA 5. Now, if
yeah,
we're talking about like, Vice City and San Andreas, when you talking about those were the games, now
yeah.
those I will always get behind. So I'll always bump up those
Do you
games
feel like you
before I
feel
pull
that
out GTA
way
5.
because you were young when you had like Vice City and San Andreas? You were young and it's like, ooh, what's this? Versus GTA 5 is like you already in high school, so it was straight like you play with your friends. But
Maybe because I mean that game. I mean it was it was M. So it
yeah,
was and you saw all things good, bad, ugly. Cartel, drugs, strippers,
right.
stealing cars. All those missions. It's like because I did remember like my
Shit.
parents definitely
Make a way.
frowned on me playing it at one point in time. So I mean I guess so. But I
I
mean
think,
You
I
think
think
that's
part
like
of
around where you got your start playing video games?
no,
I was
no.
saying like the reason why GTA is kind of like, well, I mean GTA 5 is like the third best selling game of all time. Like that's a fact, and also it literally spanned 2 video game generations.
I think that's because of how it was designed. Like, I think we get nostalgic for Vice City and GTA 4 because those felt like, normal video games. New
Mm.
releases for the holiday, you play it, you love it, you talk about it to all your friends, and then you wait for the new one to come out as you play it. And then
Mm.
you rave about that one. But GTA 5, like you just said, Jeff, has been there for years. Probably it's over 10 years old at this point, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember how old.
Almost,
Yeah, almost. Oh, okay,
yeah, 8 years.
good. Okay, it's just. Oh yeah, 2012. So it's just like there's not a lot of. We're living it currently, and the kids who are playing, they're also playing that game. So there's no nostalgia yet.
Yeah,
Maybe,
It might,
like
yeah.
years in the future, maybe someone will have another Foursquare Part 2 discussion about this.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know,
think
but
for the games that have an internet and media community behind it, like how in GTA or even in Red Dead. Because if you play Red Dead, the Red Dead story is great. I
love
love
Red
playing
Dead.
Red Dead. Like Red Dead 2, that was phenomenal. But afterwards, once I stopped playing it, you can just a lot of people just started doing the online missions, all the online robberies, the online bounties, this, that, and the third. And so now
Hello. We apologize for that interruption. Somebody decided he wanted to go get his grub on.
hungry ass square.
Jesus.
Oh man.
gotta have nutrients, bro.
Chomp, chomp, chomp. Yeah.
Anyways, but
All right.
like I was
So,
saying, I mean, I think that each game that has like an internet community behind it, it'll go a long ways as long as you continue to make another game. So it's fine that GTA has this community, but make another game. Don't just sit there and they're literally sitting there and they're marinating in GTA 5. But at least in Red Dead,
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them though, because I mean, if you can just scoop up that money from that one game, why not?
I mean, they've also
You don't have to put in that labor.
Exactly.
Rockstar also doesn't have to do things like other video game companies. They are in a tier all their own.
Facts.
Rockstar, they put out a gem, and one of y'all, I remember which one y'all said, one of it marinates, and it is enjoyed thoroughly, and it's just constantly adding new content. And while they're adding new content, they can come up with new stuff. Because the expectation on them is not to just make some one-off games. They have, at this point, they kind of have to make those games that will hold up for years.
Yeah.
And they have.
They have.
So let me ask you guys
Red
this:
Dead, GTA.
Do you think Rockstar right now, they may be waiting a minute too, because it's kind of hard to follow up GTA 5. I mean, as long as it did span, like we said, 2 video game generations, and it's the 3rd best-selling game of all time. It's going to be really hard to do that again.
True.
What would they need? What do you think they would need to have in order for it to be at least the same level or even more?
It's just more. It's
reality at that point.
It's about to say it's more productivity, but just like every other game that gets played out, or any game that drops and be like, wasn't as good, because it has those. Even with the Call of Duty series, even with the Assassin's Creed series, some games were better than others, and so the issue is that now you have a lot more expectations. So now GTA 6, unfortunately, cannot bomb. It simply cannot bomb. You'll put so much hype and weight under GTA 5, and when 6 comes out, it's like, no, I need to be able to have a story with this, and like have a lot more with it.
When you say cannot bomb, when you say cannot bomb, do you mean like there's like no way it will bomb, or do you mean like
they can't afford?
Like,
they cannot afford to bomb on GTA 6.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying like, oh, it's gonna be good. No, they cannot afford to mess up GTA 6.
I feel like GTA 6. All right, did you guys watch Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know the episode where the dude gets he gets immersed in the video game, and you know him and his best friend doing it, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I feel like GTA 6 is going to need that if they're going to one up GTA 5. Something similar to that. That's how I feel.
I mean, at least have some international options. So not just have Los Santos, but maybe have a small city in Japan, maybe have a little Tokyo, maybe have a little Hong Kong, maybe have a little Italy or something.
That's it. They're gonna have to make multiple maps to travel. So at least because you know how like, you know, everybody's gonna have like their helipad, their planes and stuff. But make sure you have a way to say, do you want to go to a new map? Select new map, and then do a different story. That way, it's like, I'm not just taking over Los Santos. I'm taking over Hong Kong, Tokyo, Singapore, France. Like, you have to make this a global GTA mission.
Yes.
That's the only way for you to continue to make it bigger.
Well, even if they do that, they kind of have to compensate by making at least smaller maps so they can condense the frames and make sure that, because that's a lot, because you got to like densely populate each area too, and then you got to make it look different, and then the rendering will be, I don't know, it could be off every now and then. But
You can switch it out. I mean, they do that for, I don't know if you guys have played the new Valhalla game. Valhalla game, there's 2 maps, and so you can literally get on a boat and be like, no, I want to go back to Norway, or do you want to go back to England? And it's literally a separate map for it.
But like it's not quite okay. So the Valhalla map is a really big map in general, but the Norway map was mostly a tutorial map. It was one of those things where it's like it has a lot of it has collectibles and it has stuff for you to kind of learn the mechanics of the game. And there is one area and one like a few tasks you cannot do it until you are leveled up a lot, like almost max level. So it's not like for what y'all talking about with GTA 6, it wouldn't have the same effect as Valhalla. Valhalla is literally, you're in the map and you go to the next map. You're going to be there for a long time, grinding out that level, fighting new enemies, getting new collectibles, finishing the story, and only until you hit like power level, I think like 300 something for the game. That's when you can say, okay, I'll go back to Norway and I'll do a little things there.
But at least, but that follows their story though. I think that at least if you want to do for GTA 6, if you want to continuously be able to go back and forth, you have to follow the story with it. Like you have to follow the main story with like the main story missions, and then one mission you get kidnapped and then be like, where am I? You're in France, a new map, and like it introduces that way to where you have to like be able to travel and try to do, like, it has to be connected in a way for it to make sense. And so, yes, of course, for, you know, Valhalla, it makes sense for them, but you just have to be able to turn that, make it make sense for GTA 6.
Speaking of story making sense, for Assassin's Creed, I thought it was interesting how they still continued the series even after Desmond died in the third one.
I mean, they were definitely gonna continue that series no matter what happened.
Right.
But I do feel like it was weird.
Yeah.
You know, we grew up with Desmond. He was such a I think everyone was on the same page. We were expecting more and more into the like current, like modern day Assassin's Creed.
Because it's like, isn't him or us going back in time and being Ezio or Altair or Connor through his like lineage?
Yeah.
So when he dies, and like, how are we actually going back in time? To whose ancestors are we actually embodying?
It's still his, but they've been doing weird stuff where it's like they preserved his genetic information and they're able to use that as like a catalyst or something. It's weird. I mean, the game is not gonna stop getting weird. It's getting weirder now.
I don't think, but I think that for the process, for anybody that's never played Assassin's Creed, you're supposed to you are in modern time, and you are collecting data and history and tracing back to your ancestors. And these are ancestors not from 50 years ago. I'm talking about like thousands and thousands of years ago, to understand their points of view, because that was a completely different world. And so now each game that has been played has been in 12, 10 CE, or all these prehistoric type of games. So I don't think if they try to make a modern Assassin's Creed, it just simply wouldn't make sense, because it wouldn't work. Like, you're not going to go to the Empire State Building and see somebody drop thousands of feet down to assassinate somebody in Times Square. Like that's not gonna work.
To clarify, that was my bad. I didn't mean like a whole game of modern Assassin's Creed. I just thought like we were gonna get a lot more, like it was gonna be a very different thing, because like you just said, the skyscrapers in modern cities are too damn high for people to be climbing like that, and they're not climbable. They don't make it like that. Right. But it's like adapting to the situation, because you have all the games kind of added something new as the time was going forward, like in the to compensate for the higher buildings and like the massive climbing difficulty in Syndicate for London, they added a grappling hook. Now you can talk about how historically inaccurate it is or whatever, but it's fun and it kind of saves time. So there are ways to get around that issue. But you can have like certain levels where you hop out of the Animus for a little bit, and you're blending with the crowd. You're like using like the element of surprise, hiding in plain sight, stuff like that you'd see in like an action movie.
Yeah.
To accomplish stuff, because even Watch Dogs. I don't know if y'all played Watch Dogs, which is a whole conversation about overrated, underrated games. But Watch Dogs, there was a side mission in which you completed a contract for you would complete contracts for money, and in this particular contract, you were taking down a business executive. You take him down, boom, that's cool. And then it turns out that the dude you just took out was a character in Assassin's Creed. He was in Assassin's Creed 4, and the next Assassin's Creed they show, or actually maybe in the same game, they show how he was in like a car accident and he got killed while on a business trip. So it's like they were showing the possible modern applications of an assassin through Watch Dogs, just without the hidden blades and more hacking and shooting.
Yeah, I think what I do appreciate for Assassin's Creed is that it is different. Now, just like in GTA or other things, you're in a different city. You're in a different city, in a different environment. But what makes Assassin's Creed better is that they're fully immersed into the culture and the lifestyle of what the area is. Any GTA game, the city really doesn't matter. It's just the missions and the stuff that happens. You're just in a different building. But in Assassin's Creed, you're taken through history. Like for Origins, you're taken through ancient Egypt. For Odyssey, you're taken through ancient Greece. For Valhalla, this is ancient, Nordic Vikings. Like there is a story and history and true history, because they have, actual historic people. Like, you have Leonidas and Cleopatra. You have
it's very
Caesar.
modified history, but like you can see where it's like they do a really good job of like adding it's like ridiculous events or whatever. But like
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure some of the major events that happen coincide with history. Even like certain people dying,
Yeah, like
like
certain people, like
assassinations. Like
in Odyssey, they play out Caesar's death, and
I
I'm
didn't
like,
even finish
oh,
my
well,
my
that's
bad.
real. But so yeah, so that's the one thing I do hope. For me, the Valhalla game, I bought it. My issue with that is that one, it was too much. It was too much
A lot.
adventure, too many missions, too many things. The history
And
part, I
that,
love it, but it's just way too much. Way
see,
too
I
much to
think
do.
that is interesting because that's exactly why I think bigger is not necessarily better for GTA 6. I think it's
Yeah.
dangerous to play with that. Like big maps can be cool if it works for the kind of game. But if you get a map that's like so big that you just don't feel like going across it, it's officially at that point you've made a big mistake. Like,
Mm.
okay,
Fast travel.
yeah, but see, if you get to the point where you unlock fast travel and you only fast travel because you refuse to enjoy that time, personally, I feel like you could do better. Like Spider-Man, the PS4 version, you can fast travel. I didn't even know you could fast travel
Yeah.
when I first played the
You
game.
don't want to
I
fast
did.
travel. I just never want to
Because
fast
you like
travel.
swinging. You like swinging, but you have
Exactly.
to. I mean, fast travel. That's always in Spider-Man. There's fast travel in Assassin's Creed, and there's fast travel in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
Those games, I rather travel normally in Ghost of
Yup.
Tsushima and travel in Spider-Man. In Ghost of Tsushima, I'm just riding on a horse throughout
Yup.
all of ancient Japan, and
Red Dead
it
Redemption
was
too.
cool. It was cool. Red Dead, I'm on a horse. Like I
Mhm.
want to ride a horse. I don't want to skip through all that.
Which
But
reminds me, speaking of horseback riding, I forgot to say what my favorite game was because all of y'all need to play it. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Oh,
I'm gonna be dead
I heard
serious
the
with
Witcher.
y'all.
I heard the Witcher's
Game.
incredible.
If you have not
is
played this
that
game
how
before,
old or new is that?
it came out in 2015. 2015, and that was what put CD Projekt Red, the people who did Cyberpunk, that was what really put them on the map. That was the prime example of third time's the charm because they made The Witcher 1 and 2, and there were good stories and everything. It was tough. I can go on about why I love Witcher and what the history behind it, but the reason I love it so much is because it is the only game I've played 5-6 times all the way through. I've done pretty much the same things, and I have never gotten tired of it. It is beautifully, like graphic wise, it's beautiful. The combat system is elegant. The story is perfect, if you ask me. I mean, I'm biased a little bit, but it's really close to perfection. And the DLC feel like two separate games. They made 2 DLCs. The whole thing, by the way, I'm on my tangent. For those of you who have not been graced with the power of The Witcher 3, the whole thing is you are a monster hunter, and you're a mutated monster hunter back during like the 1300s. And you're dealing with the end of the world, politics, war, monster hunting, and it's just like this whole unfolding story that kind of goes around you, destiny, and everything. It is just a phenomenal game. It holds up, and it probably will hold up for a very long
That's good.
time. I love that game so much.
You really got
Like,
into it.
no, like that game, like is probably like they made the first game messy on messy on the gameplay and everything. The second game was just very difficult to maneuver because it felt clunky.
Mhm.
Oh man, but that third game, everything was just. I'm gonna do it again. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
What
Fantastic.
about you guys? What's your favorite game and why?
We already did that.
Alex and Max, what's your favorite game
Oh,
and why? I mean, we already did that. I mean, I'll still stand by it. You know, Jack and Dexter
Denver?
series. I could play that. I could play that.
Denver?
I could buy it on my PS4, re-download it, and I'll play the game again, and I'll have a great time. I know the story. I know what happens in each thing, but
For sure.
each adventure, each mission, it's just fun. Dexter is hilarious. You know, just that little furball, just providing that commentary. It's just fun. It's just fun because he reminded me of what Crash Bandicoot was. You know, just in
Yeah.
smaller form. And so I just enjoy like those type of games where it's just You know, you're just playing for shits and giggles. You know, you're not really trying to, you know, do too much. It's just fun. It's just a great time.
Now, one thing I want to lead to this discussion is we have talked about games that hold up phenomenally well. We've talked about games that have been overhyped into oblivion. But we haven't really given much attention, ironically enough, to games that are underrated.
How many minutes are on this thing, I wonder? 3, 2? I wonder. Shit. I forgot. Hello there. My name is Lucas, one of your squares and the main editor of this merry band of misfits of ours. So some of y'all might be wondering, if you care that much, why the episode ended where it did. The truth is, we thought the episode was just a little bit long, so we wanted to cut it in half, keep you guys invested and interested. So thank you all for listening, and stay tuned for episode 2, part 2. Bye, guys.
Stay undercover, I'm stealth. My whole life I kept on waiting for shit. Had to learn to go get it myself. Yeah, I'll get this shit by myself. Yeah, I'll make a way for myself. Yeah, I see you got a new dude and that's cool, but I promise we fuck I won't tell. Yeah, know that you miss it, I tell. Because you still hit up my cell. So just let us out of ourselves. Cause I think I'm losing brain cells. Cause you're toxic, so toxic, still want you myself. Wanted that girl for some years now. Now she unbuckled my belt. And see that she like how I felt. I'm on a mission, no I cannot fail.